I'm starting in a yoga power position pose because the thing that we're going to talk about today is actually the 5 hardest things to starting a business. And if you've started a business, you know you need this power position because it is hard. 5 hardest things. Breathe that in for a moment. In this video, we are going to challenge you to overcome these 5 things because it isn't easy. And I think that leads to number 1. Number 1, taking an idea and actually doing something with it. I could sit on my couch every day and be like, I've got so many ideas, because I do, I have a lot of great ideas. I'm really good at that. But you might say the same thing. The challenge is, how do you take that idea and take the next step? That's scary. Number 1, find a mentor. Somebody who's done it. Maybe not the exact idea, because this is original. This is your idea. Maybe you are like me and you want to run a wellness center. But maybe your wellness center is a little different than my wellness center, and it focuses on yoga, or it focuses on mommy-baby yoga. How do you get a mentor? Where do you find a mentor? Well, in Santa Cruz, we have something called the Small Business Development Center. I used that when I was starting my business at 26. It's awesome, it's free, and it's full of mentors. And you get to pick the mentor that you want to work with based on what their history and their bio is. So look at your local community and see what kind of small business startup help there is. And Google it. Super easy. So you found a mentor, now you have a mentor, now you're getting a little bit of accountability. Accountability is super important to get your idea into something else. You've got some accountability, you're meeting with somebody regularly. Number 3, how do you know that it's a business that's gonna work? Because maybe that's where your fear is coming from. Well, what you can do is you can create a business plan. But before you even start the business plan, you've got this idea. The question you want to ask yourself is, what problem is it solving? What is the void that you're filling in the community? Online community, in-person community, your town community? What is your demographic? Who are you reaching? And what is the problem that you're solving? So now that you have the problem solved, you've got accountability, the next thing you can do is create a business plan. Creating a business plan is, how much are you going to charge for your services? What are you going to charge? What exactly are your services? And it really forces you to kind of hone in to what it is that you're going to be doing. Again, no real risk yet. You haven't spent any money. The only thing you've done is taken some time to focus on your goal. One thing I like to remember in this phase is thoughts in mind produce after their kind. So if you're sitting there with your arms crossed and a frown on your face because you don't think that you're going to be able to do it, you probably won't be able to. So that's why reaching out, finding other people who have done similar things can help encourage you. So one of the 5 hardest things that we just talked about was taking your idea to an actual business model, and that's how I would get started. Second hardest thing in starting a business is a 2-letter word that can really crush you, and that is no. No is very powerful. It's one of the first words little childs, babies, learn because it's an easy word to say. And unfortunately, it's a hard word to hear. One of the hardest words, because when you're starting a business, you don't want to hear that. You need to get grit. You need to acquire grit. You need to go inside and find your grit and go, I'm going to hear no's, and just accept it. Accept that people are going to tell you no, that you shouldn't do it, that you should stop. No, 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 no. That is a fraction of the amount of no's that you're going to hear. Take a deep breath and be ready for it. A lot of times you're going to hear people projecting, and that's what that no means. It's that they don't think they could do it, so of course you couldn't do it. But that's total nonsense. I started my business, and it wasn't my first business, but my most long-standing business in 2008, 2009. If you recall, in that time period, it was one of the biggest economic crashes that we had in the history of the United States. Pretty big deal. And I wanted to start a small business. Trust me, I got a lot of no's. But here's the good news. It takes 1 yes, just 1. You can get an infinite number of no's, but if you have 1 yes, that's all you need. What is that 1 yes telling you? That 1 yes is telling you that you can do it. So I applied for a small business loan. When I applied for that small business loan, I didn't know if I would get it. And yeah, I was afraid. I went to the part of my life where I was like, okay, what is the worst thing that could happen if this goes belly up? Because everyone's telling me no, it's not gonna work. Good luck. So I file bankruptcy. I move in with my parents. That was my worst case scenario at that time, and I was okay with it. So I went ahead and I took the risk, and I got one yes. I did step one, which was take the idea into a business plan. I presented that business plan to the Small Business Development Center in Santa Cruz County, and they granted me a small business loan. I took that money and I spent it like that. But I got a yes. And that is the point of my story, is that it took one yes and one person believing that I could do it to be able to make it happen. And here we are 10 years later with a successful business. Number 3, ask for help. So you've created this great idea. You've heard a lot of no's, but you've gotten a yes. And you're stressed because you think you have to do it yourself. Number 3 hardest thing in doing a business is knowing when and who to ask for help. You do not have to do it alone. You can have 100% of the company and still ask for help. That is okay. I'm a coach. I do business coaching. I hire business coaches. I talk to them every week because I don't know everything. That is what makes a great leader, and that can make a successful business. Stay in your lane. Know what you do really, really well, and then ask for help for everything else. So now I hear that you're saying that it costs money to ask for help because maybe you can't afford a business coach. Well, check this out. I can't afford not to have one, and neither can you. You need someone to hold you accountable. You need someone to help guide you who's done it before, who's had the success or failures so that you don't have to repeat them. It's kind of like a parent in the business world. Coaches are so important. Sometimes you don't like them, but they're going to tell you not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. Challenge number 4, lack of persistence. Pivot Talks. So Pivot Talks is about creating this community of women leaders in the community to create this tribe to really help inspire other people to be successful and embrace each other's passions, challenges, and what we can learn from each other. I did one event, I didn't make any money. And trust me, that was disappointing. And I'm seasoned somewhat. I kind of know my stuff, and I'm still disappointed. It happens to everybody. So after the event, we do a debrief, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to do this again. Because it was a bummer. It was kind of a bummer. I don't know if I was successful. So number 1, I need to make sure that my metrics of what measures success is accurate, because in that statement, it wasn't true. Number 2, persistence. Persistence is so key. Now again, when you ask for help, going back to the previous one, that is helpful because you've got this third party kind of talking to you about what's going on and giving you perspective. Again, you're going to get a lot of no's, and you only need one yes. So being persistent is so essential to your success. If it doesn't work, you try again. I'm sure you've heard of this before, but Thomas Edison, it wasn't that he failed 60,000 times before he created a light bulb. That's not what he says. He said, I found 60,000 ways how not to create a light bulb. It's all about also how you spin it. So being persistent is so important. If Thomas Edison wasn't persistent, we would not have the electricity that we have today. You have a great idea. You have a problem you're trying to solve. We need it. The world needs your creativity, so be persistent so that we can see it and you can share it with the world. The last difficult thing, well, there's a lot, but we're talking top 5 difficult things in starting a business is time management. There's so much to do in so little time. And one of the things I had to learn was start with 5 things, just like this video. 5 hardest things to do in starting a business. What are your top 5 priorities for the day? That's all you got to work on. And if you accomplish those 5, then you're freaking stoked because you did those 5, and guess what? You get to do 6, 7, and 8. But if you're able to get to 5, you're stoked, and it's attainable. Maybe those 5 things are monstrous tasks, so maybe you cut it down to 2 or 3. But the focus here is being focused. Time management is so hard, so have a schedule, stick to a schedule as best you can, and remember at the end of the day, when you ask yourself, did you do your best under the circumstances? And as long as you're doing your best under the circumstances, you're doing okay. And be realistic about the time that you're spending and create that to-do list, because otherwise you're gonna be spinning your wheels and you're gonna be disappointed in what you're unable to accomplish. So let's focus on a few things, what you are able to accomplish, what are the most key priorities, what's causing you the most stress is a way that you can figure that out. And then you can breathe and you can feel accomplished and you can go on to the next day with a sense of renewal and energy and really productivity to get stuff done. The 5 hardest things we talked about today are all manageable, but you gotta ask for help, you gotta be persistent, you gotta not take no for an answer, you gotta take that idea and bring it to the business plan, and you gotta manage your time. Remember, it's always the start that stops us, so don't wait! Get started today. Thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please subscribe below so that you can get additional videos about how to better your life, better your business, and increase your income. We're really excited to start this channel with you, so please subscribe below. I did that. Is that okay?